And with that, I would like to introduce a friend named Dan.
Hello. So I have also never done this, so bear with me. I'll try not to go down any rabbit holes here. My name is Dan Gauthier. I'm a UX designer, an engineer, co-founder of Seven Magnolia, also autistic, ADHD, and completely self-taught. I would like to talk about the importance of a good support system by telling a story about some of my own experiences. I think one of the most important things a person can learn in school is to have confidence in themselves, to feel like they can achieve whatever they put their mind to. The world is their oyster. If you have self-doubt and you expect to fail, what's the logic in even trying to do something? Unfortunately, I didn't feel great when I left school. I didn't feel like the world was my oyster. I felt terrible. I felt like all I could do was fail, because that's what I was taught. I had a lot of trouble at an early age. I was said I was disruptive, I was a dreamer, got in trouble all the time for doodling in class, and that I did not like to take instruction. I was diagnosed with ADHD when I was in 5th grade. Back then they didn't know much about it, so I was basically just told that I had a disorder. That I had a chemical imbalance in my brain, and the reason I was not doing well in school was because of that. So basically all I heard was, "You're broken." It's just not a good message to give to a young kid who's, kind of trying to go out into the world and be confident, right? So I expressed to guidance counselors that I had an interest in psychology, computer science, a few other things, and they basically laughed at me and told me to learn a trade. This is a narrative that I internalized. It's a narrative of self-doubt and failure that I internalized, that I still struggle with to this day. Been trying to unprogram that from myself for quite a while. So I ended up going to college at night. Was watching debt pile up, and something in my brain kind of just told me at some point, look, this isn't working. So I eventually stopped going, despite all the advice that everyone in my life had been giving me. But that's actually when I started listening to myself and stopped listening to advice from others and started creating my own path. And things actually started to feel right. So I started to follow just the way that felt and believe that was really the right thing to do. So fast forward, into the workforce. I was in an entry-level job at a large corporation, and I was fortunate enough to have a manager who looked at my differences with curiosity and encouragement. He used to say things like that I was like a cruise ship, so that it took forever for me to start, stop, or change direction, but once I had momentum, I was unstoppable. He began advocating for me, helped me navigate social situations, and even gave me tips on how to dress. I guess you're not supposed to wear a brown belt with black shoes. I didn't know those things, so. There was a lot of stuff that he just kind of helped with. He's just a really good person. He was really good with people, listened, and we ended up having conversations about how can we make this better for you? How can I assist you in focusing on things and staying on track and staying in the tunnel, which is what I would refer to as the focus state. Right? I called it the tunnel. That's how I felt when I was in a tunnel. But he would actually tell people, hey, if Dan's got his headphones on and he's kind of bobbing his head and he's in a groove, don't tap him on the shoulder, don't bother him. It's going to take him a while to get back into that state. So there were a lot of little things that he would help with. Like the doodling and stuff that happened when I was in school. I had trouble with that in my professional career. I was, called out for doodling in meetings. There was a lot of the same trends. So basically, he ended up showing me tutorials and things that were kind of learning at your own pace, and I ended up just kind of grabbing onto that and realized that I could learn on my own a lot better than I could be taught by someone else. I figured out that I have to reverse engineer things. I can't really start at chapter 1 and move like a linear through everything. I have to, I'm more kind of scattered, and I like to jump around. I like to go at the end and kind of like go backwards through something. I want to see the finished product before I start at the beginning. And if I go my own way, I can actually learn things very quickly, so I advance really fast. So this person changed the entire trajectory of my career simply because he embraced my differences instead of telling me to change. He made me feel comfortable in an environment that I didn't feel comfortable in, and helped others understand so that I would feel more comfortable. And that was an incredible, incredible thing. It changed everything for me. I don't know where I'd be today if I didn't have that, if I didn't get that feeling of, you can do this. And it's such a simple thing, and it sounds kind of corny, but if you don't believe in yourself, you're not going to attempt any challenging things. You're not going to go out into the world and try to do something that might be a little tough. You're just going to sit back and say, well, it's not possible. So it's illogical to begin. With the proper support system, believing in yourself, what I'd really like to say is that, neurodivergent person should not have to start their own business to feel comfortable in the workplace. So there's got to be something we can do to improve that situation. Thank you.